All right. Hi, I'm Anne Marie, member of the Sunfire Stable show team, with another installment of I Signed Up for the Show Team. What's next? We're here with another entry of our Meet the Breed series. And we have Tony here with his handsome friend. And Tony, give us some information.
Well, this is Brego.
Yes.
And he is an American Morgan horse.
And what is his registered name? Because no one gets it right.
His registered name is Elysium Bow Energies.
Bow Energies. And that translates to?
It actually translates to Heaven's Son of Thunder and Lightning.
Right, right. You have told me that, and I thought that was a really neat thing. So, a Morgan horse, specifically, he is bred in the what line?
Well, he is actually bred within what's called the government line within Morgans. Morgans are actually split into two different lines.
Okay.
There is what they call the sport Morgans, and then there's the government Morgans. You don't see as many of those. His breeding really started back in the early 1900s, the late 1800s, when a cavalry general went to the University of Vermont and said, we want a little bit bigger horse for the cavalry. We want something that can pull, but then we can ride later on. In 1904, after an impassioned speech to Congress, the U.S. Cavalry and the U.S. government adopted the Morgan horse as the official horse of the U.S. Cavalry. And from there, they were taken and they were put in part of what they call their, I want to say waypoint, that's not right, their remount series.
Okay.
And there were several remount stations throughout the U.S., and Morgan horses were given to all of those, not only for the cavalry to remount themselves instead of having to wait, to recover or whatever, but also locals could make use of them for their stud programs as well. So you're going to find that the Morgan horse went and actually was the foundation of American Saddlebreds, the Tennessee Walker, and believe it or not, quite a bit of the quarter horse line found Morgans in their background.
Oh my God.
But I can tell you that with his breeding and some of the research that we did, I can tell you that some of his ancestors probably found their way onto Teddy Roosevelt's own Rough Rider.
Oh my gosh, what a history.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned Vermont. That's kind of where the beginning of the Morgan horse started?
It makes the Morgan horse unique because in 1791, a Vermont school teacher by the name of Justin Morgan received a colt in payment of a debt. That colt's name was Figure. Now, Figure was a short coupled, means kind of a shorter back, compact, with an upheld carriage and an easy way of going. In the next 10 years, Figure outpulled all of the local draft horses, he outpaced all of the cart horses, and he could ride as long as anybody wanted him to. He became legendary and eventually became known as Justin Morgan's horse, or the Morgan horse.
Oh.
One of Figure's direct descendants, Black Hawk, one of his first big foals, went on to sire over 1,100 foals and had the highest stud fees in the entire world for a while. And then from there, two of his most famous progeny, Ethan Allen and Ethan Allen II. Well, you may not have heard of them, but if you've ever seen a weather vane with a trotting horse, that was taken from a drawing of Ethan Allen.
Oh, really?
So that's a Morgan.
Really?
Yes.
So it's not a standard, but it's a Morgan horse.
It's a Morgan horse.
Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things that Morgans are known for is they have a very flowing and easygoing gait, but they also have something known as a Morgan road trot. Their ground covering trot, which is beyond their regular trot, will absolutely cover the distance really, really fast. And you may have seen it at some shows, but his Morgan road trot is actually faster than some other breeds' canters.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why they are loved for all of their cart pulling abilities as well.
Sure.
You'll find that in Indiana and parts of Pennsylvania, the Amish utilize Morgans quite a bit, especially for their cart horses, because they can cover that ground with ease.
Well, as a cart horse, especially when you go back a couple hundred years and there's a doctor, there's a nurse, there's somebody that has to get there quickly, they have to have a horse that can go go quickly and not expend himself completely.
And
So,
be dependable.
Right.
And that's one of the things that the Morgans are known for. They're known for the fact that they have a lot of stamina. As I can attest to, when a month ago, when we had him at a 2-day show in Walworth County, and he did 41 classes in 2 days.
Wow.
That's a lot of work in just those 2 days. But he did it. He was still ready to go. He could have done more.
wow. No, okay, now getting back to specifically to Brego then.
Yeah.
How long have we had him? How old is he? How tall is he? How do you use him?
Well, Brego is 17 years old. I've had him for 8 years now. I got him when he was 9 years old, when he had been sitting for 7 years and unused. So he was basically green broke when I got him. And thanks to Jennifer and everything here at Sunfire, we put the foundation on him so that I can do whatever I want. He is in English and Western pleasure,
Okay.
traditional and Western dressage, and he's also a Western dressage champion. I have done liberty work with him in the way of Dan James, where I can work with him on the ground without touching him, and I can move him around me. I can ground drive him. Although I haven't broke him to cart, I need to send him somewhere to do that. Because I don't know how to do that.
Right.
And that's a very tricky thing to do.
Right.
But other than that, he also has been doing extremely well in Western ranch pattern riding and reining patterns. He did very, very well this year in doing that. And I'm hoping that we're going to see some good recognition for him from that this year. So.
Well, and speaking of recognition, he had a little bit of an accolade from last year into this year. Tell us about that.
Well, he was nominated and was chosen by the Wisconsin Horse Council as the 2023 Equine of the Year for all of the work that he's done and all the things and all the effect that he's had on the lives of those around him.
Right.
And he has definitely been an effect on me. I mean, I wouldn't be the rider I am without him. He's taught me a lot.
Right. Personality-wise, he's just kind of, nibbling on you a little bit of lip
Actually,
there.
what he wants me to do is he wants me to rub his nose.
Oh.
He loves to have his nose rubbed.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
He loves to have his nose rubbed. He's very affectionate. I wasn't expecting quite this, but yeah, he's definitely, once he gets to know you, he will nibble at you a little bit. He doesn't bite at you,
right,
but he rubs his nose at you because he
Ooh.
likes to do that. Something causes attention.
Yeah.
And
handsome.
But he's very affectionate. And once he understands what you want and what you need him to do, he will do it, and he will do it until he drops. He's gotten Abby and both Elliot, who both ride him as well, have really worked a nice relationship with him, and they listen. He listens to them.
Right.
They listen to him, and we've gotten to know each other very well because of that. He's just an all-around great horse. Every horse has, their particular quirks and things like that, but generally, I tell you, he's just the best.
How boring would it be if they didn't have their little things? Getting back to the, Elliot and Abby and you both handling him and things like that, that takes both skills on the horse's part and on the handler and rider. He has to adjust to size, handling, balance, the saddle, the different sizes, all those things that he has to adjust for and acclimate to are pretty impressive.
It's been a lot of work this year, especially. Elliot is very petite, Abby's taller, and I'm bigger yet. My center of gravity is much higher than Abby's, let's say. And Elliot, who is since she is so petite, her center of gravity is different as well.
Sure.
Her legs don't reach quite as far. Mine reach longer than either one of them. So what we've had to do is we've had to standardize how we ride. We have to make sure that every time we ride, we are riding exactly the same, and we are giving him exactly the same cues, so that, the difference between where my leg touches him versus Abby's versus Elliot's.
Right.
He understands, this is what I need to do. This is what I need. And because he's so smart, he's been able to do it.
Right.
And he's been doing very well.
Well, that's really quite a thing, because standardizing that has made it easier for all three of you. What is your canter cue? Well, it's this and that, and so that he knows what this and that means then.
get your face up here.
Well, he likes to have a little snack.
Yeah, and that's a tricky thing. But he's smart. He knows what we need, and he knows what it is we're looking for. Sometimes he anticipates a little bit too much.
Right.
And I will tell you, I mean, he can be, there are times when he's got a little bit extra fire, and absolutely that's true. But at the same time, he is absolutely ready to work. And with as good a condition that he's in at this point, he could do whatever we ask him to do. Absolutely.
So what do you have left for this year then? Any goals? You have more dressage, I'm presuming.
Well, actually, let me think. So Elliot's going to be riding him at the Equine Trail on the 30th.
Okay.
She's going to be at that. And then the next weekend, actually just Elliot will have him at a Arab Open show.
That's
It's sponsored by the Arab show.
That's a wonderful show.
So we're going to be doing that. And actually, Elliot's going to be riding him herself. And then we have one last schooling show at Sorensen's on the 14th that we'll be going with the rest of the Sunfire crew on.
Very, very cool.
We're hoping to end out this year on a high note.
On a high note, that's always a good place. But even a medium note, if it's brought progress in some form, is an okay thing.
Well, it's my last ride. I increased my score by about 4 points.
Oh my gosh!
Elliot has increased her score from her last ride by 5. Actually, no, by 6 points.
That's huge.
And Abby is on the cusp of moving from level 1 to level 2
Wow.
in traditional dressage, and she's moving up in Western dressage. She is almost at level 2. She's starting on her 3rd test in level 1 at this point.
Wow.
Which is really amazing, and we've really come that way this year.
Well, and that's neat because he can accommodate level 1, level 2, level 3, whatever rider he's working with, he can handle that and bring them their best.
Absolutely, and when things aren't working quite the way that we want them to, I do what I tell them, that we're going back to school. We go back, we get the basics, we just go back to the basics, and sometimes just that reminder of what those foundations are. Then we go back, and you may lose a week of riding, but at the same time, those are the type of things that sometimes need to be revisited just to make sure that everybody's doing things right.
You know what?
Myself included.
And that's so true. And sometimes we pass over that part. We want to get to the end goal, and
Right.
we miss those foundational pieces. So,
Absolutely.
So, well, is there anything else you wanted to add? What his favorite treat is? What his fanciest quirk is?
So probably his favorite treat is a green apple that's not quite ripe.
Okay.
But when that happens, he foams at the mouth so that he's dripping worse than the clover slobbers. It's the funniest thing, but he absolutely loves them.
Wonderful.
And the one quirk that he has that I've noticed no matter what, when you let him off lead and he goes to run away, goes out to the pasture or whatever, as he's run, he will take and he will flip his head up, and just to get his head higher than anybody else's, and he just runs like that with his head up in the air, flipping it back and forth. It's quite humorous to see sometimes.
Loud and proud.
Very much,
Very much loud
so.
and proud. Okay, well, Tony, I thank you so much for bringing him out today, and a fine example of a Morgan horse. Touching basically, you have won the Justin Morgan horse halter. Yes.
I won it again
several
this year.
times.
I won it again
Yes,
this year.
I saw that. I saw that. Congratulations. So he really is a fine example, and we've got one other Morgan here on the grounds, and it's really nice to see.
Yeah, my
him.
wife's horse, Banner.
Oh gosh, and Chief.
Yes, and Chief, yes.
Well,
No,
we got
yeah, absolutely.
Of course. How can I forget Banner? So in any case, if you have any comments or questions for Tony or me or Brego, put them in the comments below, and we'll get back to you next time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I hope there's no battery on here. Oh.